All right, so everyone, welcome to Kailul Kol Shira, of course, in partnership with Breslov.org and Yeshiva at Shimon.
Recording in progress.
Okay. All right, so it's Parshas Vayishlach, and we're moving along. We're getting closer to Hanukkah, Baruch Hashem. All right. And there's so much to talk about in all of these parshas because, it's Ma'asav Simon Labanim, right? And we learn all of these such important lessons out specifically from the parshas and Bereshis, especially the parshas dealing with the Yavis HaKadoshim, right? And now we're dealing with the Shiftei Ka, right? The Shvatim, the Holy Shvatim, right? So many things go on in this parsha, right? Just to outline a little bit, right? We start off that Yaakov Avinu he leaves from Lavan, and he's heading back to Eretz Yisrael. Hashem told him to come back to Canaan, right? And he's heading back, and he sends his malachim, right? Rashi says they were really malachim, right? He sent them, and he wanted to see what was going on with his Esav, to make friends with him, right? He wanted to try. Then he came back. The malachim came back and said, "Well, he has 400 men." 400 men. That means he doesn't want to make peace, right? Right, Ernie, would you say that?
I was saying right.
Yeah. If he wanted to make peace, he wouldn't have to have 400 men, right? It's an interesting thing why he needed 400 men anyway, if you think about it, because he was going against Yaakov Avinu. So why would he need 400 men? But that's another discussion. Okay, all right. But anyway, now, and then we know that he sent a present, right? He sent them a present, and then he was, he prepared for the milchama, right? He prepared for the war, right? And then he davened. That was the order, right? First, he tried to appease him. You make peace. If the peace isn't working out, so then you have to be prepared for war, right? If the war, and of course with the war you have to daven, right? Because again, if you don't daven, what good is the war, right? How's the war going to help you? How's the war going to be anything? There's a beautiful story that's going around. I don't know if you heard it, but it's Vaday Kedai to tell over this story. There was a group in a battalion in Gaza, and they were davening Shachris. And when they were davening Shachris, they had a Sefer Torah with them, and it was either a Monday or a Thursday, I don't know, either way, and they laned. So the commander asked if he can get an aliyah. He wanted an aliyah because he wanted to say Birchas HaGoymo, right? He wanted to thank Hashem for all of the miracles and all of the things that they experienced, okay? And he gets his aliyah, and of course he benches Goymo. When they finished davening, they sat down, they were going to eat. So the army gives them these little cans of tuna fish and oil. Now the tuna, it's not this is not like a star-kissed tuna, something that's gishmak. It's tuna that's. So what do the guys normally do? They take a match, they open it up, they open the can up, they take a match, they put the fire into the can with the oil. Then the oil goes on fire and it kind of smokes the tuna, right? And then it has like a smoke taste, so it's a little tasty. So listen to this. I'm telling you, this is murder. So the guy opened up he made the fire. He opened his can, made the fire, and the guys came over. They said, "What are you doing? We have live ammunition over here. You can't have a fire going on with the ammunition. It's very dangerous." So he takes the can of tuna fish and he tosses it, flings it as far as he can. The next thing they hear a bang. They hear this big bang. They He didn't know what it was. They all got their guns out and they started to shoot. The next thing they see, around where that can landed, they see a white flag coming out. A white flag coming up. What was it? The Hamas guys were in this tunnel. They were in the tunnel. They were getting ready to attack the Jewish battalion. Instead, he takes that can, tosses it there. They think that the Israelis, the army, is going to attack them. And it came out. Unbelievable. The maisim of Hashgacha Pratis that you have is just mind-boggling. They're mind-boggling stories, really. Mind-boggling stories. Rabbi Yehuda, did you hear that story?
Yeah.
You did.
On the video, yeah.
There are thousands of stories. Thousands. I think that one was so special to me. I was like, wow. Guy just davens. He thanks HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And look at the Yeshua that they get. Unreal, mamish. Okay. So let's turn. Okay. So then in the Parshah, right? He meets with Esav. Okay, fine. And then we have the Maisa with Dinah, right? The Maisa with Dinah, with Shechem, right? Shechem saw Dinah. He took Dinah, right? He raped her or whatever. Okay, yeah. The next thing we know, and they made the deal with him that hey, you want her, but it can't be that you're not you don't have a bris milah. How can it be? You need to have a bris, right? So they all made a bris, right? And then they went on the third day, and they smote the city, right?
Shimon and Levi.
Shimon and Levi went, and they wiped out the city. Amazing, right? They wiped out the city. Yaakov Avinu wasn't too happy about that, but okay. These are the things in general that happen in the Parsha. Let's understand a little bit. What does Yaakov Avinu tell? He tells Esav, in Lavan Garti, right? In Lavan Garti. I lived with Lavan. What was he trying to say? So look what the Kedushas Levi says. There's so many beautiful pshatim on this, but I always like to turn to the Kedushas Levi, especially we're in this these trying times for Klal Yisrael, literally all over the world, wherever Jews are today. Right, there are trying times. Right, I mean, someone told me a story of a Jewish teacher that was attacked in Queens. Right, another one was in Hillside. Right, a lady was locked in a room for 9 hours because the police didn't want to save her from these guys. Unbelievable, what's going on? Who would have ever thought this 10 years ago? Would you ever thought 10 years ago that in New York? There would be you'd be scared. A teacher would be scared in the public school system. Would anyone have ever thought something like that? Ernie, would you have thought that 10 years ago? Impossible, right? Impossible to think of that, right? Impossible. But look what's going on now. Look, it's unbelievable. Anyway, but he says in Lavan Garti, Perish Rashi, V'tayag mitzvah shemarti. He's saying over the Kedushas Levi said, "B'shem Adoni Avi Meiri v'Rabbi Zeichet Tzaddik v'Kodesh Zabrach." Look how he revered his father. Unbelievable. The holy Kedushas Levi, the Rebbe Rav Levi Yitzchak ben Sarah Sashas Chus Yogan Aleinu Val Kol Yisrael Mamish. But look at the way that Tzaddik says in Lavan Garti Perish Rashi the Tayig Mitzvah Shemarti. I kept the whole Torah. Boy, was it hard. Right? He's dealing with Lavan. Right? The Medrash says that Lavan he worked 6 years. He worked 7 years. He worked for Rachel, right? And then he wound up getting, after he switched them on. He switched the Leah, right? So in the next week he got, after the seven brachas were done with Leah, he got Rachel, and then he had to work another 7 years, right? That was 14 years. and then he stayed another 6 years to earn his wages, right? He was working, right? So that means in 6 years, 72 months, right? The Medrash says that Lavan changed his wages 100 times. You hear this? 100 times in 72 months. That means like every 3 weeks he would say, we're changing the deal. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's fascinating. Mamish fascinating. Anyway, this is what he was doing. I live with Lavan. In Lavan, Garti v'tayig, but I still kept the Torah. Idea loy zois. The Rabbi Seina Zalam Moshe Sholach loy lahagid vayili shor v'chamor shaloy yikanu boy. He tells him, I have oxen, right? I have donkeys. I have livestock. That's really what we're saying. I have a lot of livestock. Right? He has all kind of animals. Yaakov Avinu had a lot of animals. Shaleinis kayim by habrachos mitala shamayim umishmane haaretz. Yaakov Avinu, right? Let's go back, right? He took the brachas from Esav, right? He went in trickery and he took the brachas from Esav. What was the bracha that Yitzchak Avinu gave to, thinking he was giving to Esav, but he gave it to Yaakov? He gave him the bracha, mitala shemayim u'mishmani haaretz. You're supposed to get from the dew of the earth, the heavens, and the fat of the earth, mishmani haaretz. But hey, wait a second. The brachas didn't come true, right? Because I only have livestock. I don't have any land. Yaakov didn't have any land, right? He was living in tents. He didn't have land. What I have is not from the mitala shemayim and mishmani haaretz. The mahai time of the loyis kaimu machma shaloi shoma atayra. But he told him in Lavan Garti, Taryag mitzvah shemarti. It's not the fact. Esav would say, well, maybe Yaakov, you weren't a good boy. Maybe you were like me. maybe you were like me, and you didn't keep the Torah, and you did everything wrong, and that's why. No, so Yaakov specifically tells him, no, Esav. Im Lavan Garti Taryag mitzvah shemarti. So you can't say that. And he would say, well, the brachas you'll only get your brachas if you fulfill the Torah. You didn't fulfill the Torah, so you didn't get the brachas. Yaakov preempts that and says, in Lavan Garti Taryag mitzvah shemarti. All right. Parshat told us the pasuk v'haya kasher torid v'lezeh sholach loy shetayig mitzvah shemarti v'af al pi chen loy niskaymu bi. It did, the brachas still were not fulfilled for me, habrachas. Af al pi shemarti atayri, even though I fulfilled the Torah, im kein ein lechad lintar sinna ala brachas v'kal haven. So Esav, don't be upset at me. Why was Esav so angry at Yaakov? Remember? He was so angry that Yaakov took the brachas from him. So Yaakov was telling him, no, manashach. You're only angry because I took the brachas. But if the brachas really didn't come to fruition, and you don't see the benefit of the bracha because it didn't come true. Okay, so if it didn't come true, so why you have to be angry at me? Very easy to understand that, right? Right? Very, very easy to understand it. This is the parish that the holy Kedushas Levi's father has. Now he says, Hatzileni no miad achi miad Esav. Very interesting. He could have just said, Hatzileni no me Esav achi. Right? Why does it have to say, why does Yaakov Avinu use such a lashon like this? Hatzileni no miad achi miad Esav. From the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav. Why is it written like that? The Esav hu ha-sitracha, hu ha-malach ha-mavas, hu ha-yetzahara. How do you like that? See what Esav is? Esav is the sitracha, is this other side. He's the Malach HaMavos. He's the angel of death. He's the Yetzer Hara. He's the evil inclination.
All the milos.
What?
All the milos.
He has all the Alamilas. We don't need such milas like that, right? Yeah. So listen to what happens here. Bakashas Yaakov Ahaya Hatzileni Na Shalayia Esav Achi. I don't want Esav to be my brother, so dear to me, so dear. I don't want to feel that brotherly love with him. You know, they say like this today. They say that America today is still part of Edom, right? It's part of Edom. It's Esav, right? It's not. They're not Jewish people, right? And we have over here. I don't know if this is true, Rabbi Yehuda. Maybe you could tell me this is true. They say that the intermarriage rate right now in America is 7 out of every 10 marriages. 7 are intermarriages. Whether it's either what?
Mona, that's one.
I don't hear Rahman al, but you heard that is somewhat accurate.
Yeah. Yes.
Unbelievable, mamish. So again, you see, when we have this idea of the achi, Esav achi, my brother, right? Where everything is so good, and you could, we're all the same. We're all the same. What's the difference? Right? Chazal instituted the idea of Yayin Nesach, right? Yayin Nesach and Pas Yisrael. Right? Where did that all come from? Where did Yayin Nesach come from? It's not from the Torah. Right? There's no mitzvah in the Torah that you can't have any wine you want. It's a D'Rabbanan. Why did the Rabbanan institute that? Do you know that why? Because they didn't want us to mingle. What?
It's Tischasen one.
It's Tischasen, but we shouldn't mingle, so we shouldn't have marriage. We shouldn't intermarry. Exactly. It's Tischasen, but in other words, we shouldn't intermingle. If we intermingle, we're going to come to Chas v'Sholom. The kids will come to marry each other, and that's not a good thing. So therefore, it was always a custom to have wine on the table, right? That was always the custom. They always drank with wine. So if I can't have wine with my neighbor, so then I won't invite my neighbor. So I'll invite my friend. Yeah, we'll invite the Jewish couple over instead. So then we'll make chasnas with Jewish people, and that was the reason. Also with Pas Yisrael, the same thing. The same idea with Pas Yisrael. There's no such a thing, Min HaTorah Pas Yisrael. Where did it come from? That same idea. It shouldn't come to intermingle. We shouldn't mingle and eat with the goyim. We don't need to do that. To feel this idea of the achi, we're brothers. No. Atzilena shalayia Esav achi, shezeh miyad achi miyad Esav. Right. That's why it says v'zeh miyad achi miyad Esav. Shalayis galgel shayetzer hara achi. It shouldn't come out that the Yetzer Hara is like my brother. Even we're friends. Everything's okay. Shepam chas v'shalom Yetzer Hara meises la'aveira ule'ein adam mare mitzvah, right? Val derech zeh miskarev adam l'darkei b'meheira l'asei saveira. Sometimes the Yetzer Hara, right? He seduces a person to do an aveira. But to the person, it seems like it's a mitzvah. Right? It seems like he's doing a mitzvah. Yetzer is very clever. He's very clever how he does things. So he does something, makes you think, oh, this is a mitzvah you're doing. Oh, I'm doing a mitzvah, I'll do it. Of course, I want to do a mitzvah. But really what he's doing is he's seducing the person to do the Maisa Aveira, and then Chas v'Sholom, the person will go and do an Aveira. We know Aveira is a Goreres Aveira. Again, if you make the Yetzer Hara, he feels like he's your friend. If he's befriended to you, so then that's never going to come to a good outcome, Chas v'Sholom. So therefore, we always have to stay away from them. We learned this from Yaakov Avinu. Now we go on. Data amata heitiv eitiv imacha. Right? Sheperish. What is this? What is this that he says that the Kodesh Baruch said is going to do very good to Yaakov Avinu? Perish. Sheitav imecha she'ei eitav bizgalia lakol shehu taiva. He said it should be in a way. What does it mean? Hativ eitav. It should be in a revealed way that to everyone lakol shehu taiva. What does that mean? Many times, we know that everything that Hashem does, He does it l'tayv. Kol ma David Rachman l'tav David, right? But sometimes the good, that Hashem's idea of good and our idea of good doesn't always shtim, right? Doesn't always fall in line. So he's saying he wants it should be bizgali, it should be a revelation, it should be revealed to everybody like kol shu taiva shalapamim yesh chasodim mechusim shein nirelai. Sometimes there are chasodim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does, that people do. People do a chesed, but you don't know, right? Maybe sometimes, right, a person, you're in the street, and then the meter is going to run out, and the person walks by and he puts a quarter in the meter for you. Ever happened to you, Ernie? Did it ever happen like that? A thing like that?
With the water, no. No.
And so we're saying it's mechusa. You don't know. You don't always know. You're wondering how you didn't get a ticket. You come back, there's no ticket. No, the guy did. Okay. So there's sometimes people do. I'm giving you one example. Ernie, you can use any example you want.
Okay.
Right? I'm just giving you an example of something that someone does a chesed that you don't necessarily know that the chesed was done. Right? You don't necessarily know. Right? Sometimes it seems like it's something bad, and the good is hidden, right? The good is hidden, right? Like you go to a doctor, right? So the doctor has to do some procedure. So it seems like it hurts a lot. So the good that the outcome is really mechusa. It's hidden. You don't see the good. You only feel the pain. But really, what's he doing? He's doing something good for you. Right? You go to the dentist, he's got to drill. You got to listen to that noise, right? It's terrible, right? I think that noise of the drill, to me, is worse than even the drilling itself. Listening to that noise, but you don't know. But we do know that you go to the dentist and it's going to be a little painful right now.
That's true.
But he's really doing it, not doing it to be mean to me. He's doing it because he wants to. I have a problem. He's trying to fix the problem. When Hashem does a chesed, megula ima adam oz atoiv hu megula. If a Kodesh Baruch Hu does a chesed for somebody, and it's revealed to the person, then the goodness is revealed to all. That's a revealed goodness. So the bracha was hativ eitiv, that it should be not just that it should be good, but it should be a goodness. It should be something special that everybody understands, that everybody sees. So it should not be something that it's perceived. I don't understand the goodness. That I should also understand. Here's another idea. What is that? Mazeh kefa loshen hativ eitiv. We know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, is mashpia. He bestows blessing, and He does good for Klal Yisrael. But we know that Hashem also gives good things to the nations of the world also, not just the Klal Yisrael. Right? We see that, right? Not just the Klal Yisrael. The nations of the world also get goodness. What's the difference between the two? What is the difference when HaKadosh Baruch Hu does good for Klal Yisrael as opposed to when He does good for the Ummah Ha'olam? Let's see. All right? Hachiluk b'neihem. Ha'toiva she'noisen la'am Yisrael ha'kavona hu b'shvil toiva. When Hashem does good for us, He does it for the sake of goodness. Va'toiva sheba al humais hu al derech umeshalin l'soinav el ponav la'avidai. You know, there's a concept where HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world, he pays back the Rishayim for what good they did in this world. Gives them back in this world what they did, so that they'll have nothing in the next world, right? We're talking about wicked people, that they'll have nothing now in the next world, because they got their reward for whatever they did. They got their reward already. So if they got their reward already, so they don't need to get anything else. Yeah, look what he says here. That means the goodness that Hashem does for the Ummah Ha'olam and the Rishayim in this world is really not good for them. Why? Because then they're not going to have anything in the next world for eternity. They get their little benefit. Excuse me, in this world, but then they lose their eternity. Aval be Yisrael Amay. When it comes to Klal Yisrael, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's nation, Kavonas HaToiva U B'Shvil HaToiva. Hashem does it for the sake of good. V'zeu Heitiv Eitiv Imach. What it means, I'll do good for you. Kavonas HaToiva B'Shvil HaToiva Atzma, for the sake of the goodness itself. Unbelievable. Two understandings of what this bracha means. Heitiv Eitiv. Okay, now we go to the next one. Vayaki. If Goshcha, Esav, Achi, V'shelecha Lemi Ata. If it'll be that when Esav, you'll meet with Esav, and they'll ask, who are you? What's going on? In the klal, B'tchilas Itzkarvis Adam L'Hashem. When a person wants to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? A person says, it's enough. I want to start doing the right thing. I want to start learning Torah. I want to start keeping the mitzvahs. I want to start being an Eved Hashem. He wants to come close to Hashem. The Yetzer Hara is going to attack him, because the Yetzer Hara is going to say, wait, hold on a second here. All this time you were mine. All this time you were in my camp. And if you were in my camp, so how are you going to change now? How can you change now? I don't let you change now. The Yetzer Hara says. He doesn't want you to lose. He doesn't want to lose his. He doesn't want to lose his participant, right? Yakshav loy shavaydasei laHashem yegiya loy toivus olam hazeh gam kein. So what do? The Yetzer Hara in this Gabra, a person should think shavaydasei laHashem yegiya loy toivus olam hazeh gam kein. So I should think like this: if I'm going to serve Hashem, not only am I going to get the next world, but I'll also enjoy the tov in this world. From the sake for the sake that I'm serving Hashem, I will also enjoy for that. And that's an idea of what you can do in order that the Yetzer Hara shouldn't come and try to disrupt the dveikus when your connection to Hashem. And after, when you were able to already successfully connect yourself to Hashem, but once you start to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we know. Once you're serving Hashem, so then you really, what do you want to do? You want to give Hashem nachas ruach. You want Hashem to be happy with what to feel proud of you from what you're doing. That's what we want. We're not then worried about this world. In other words, use that only as a sense to fight against the Yetzer Hara. Why? Because the Yetzer Hara is going to try to tell you, why you got to enjoy this world. What do you mean you got to? Of course I got to enjoy this world. I'm going to serve God. I'm going to enjoy this world. But once you start serving Hashem, then you could really enjoy to serve Hashem for the sake of Hashem. Zeu v'hayaki yifkoshcha Esav achi v'shelech lemi. Dainu ha'yetzer hara shemachuna b'shem Esav. Like we said, the Yetzer Hara is Esav is the Yetzer Hara. Esav is the Malach Hamavas. Esav is the Samach Mem. He's all of those guys. All the Milas, like you said, Rabbi Yehuda, right? She's a Malachei Yaakov, Shehem Achshavos Kedoshos Shel Yaakov, Shemimenu Nivru Malachim. V'hu Yikatreg L'Machshavos Ono Selech. Where are you going, right? So we know when we do things, right? Ernie, do you notice when you're learning Torah and you're davening and you're speaking to Hashem, you're creating angels. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know you're creating malachim? You're creating angels. Wow. So those malachim, sheyivkosh b'malachei Yaakov, when they meet the malachim that Yaakov created, Sheim Achshavos Kedoshos, that hold those holy thoughts. Shel Yaakov Shemenu Nivru Malachim. V'lo yikatreg l'machshavos Ono Selech. V'amartu l'avdecha Yaakov. It's for my servant Yaakov. Ono Malachei Yaakov. We are the Malachim of Yaakov. Shebe'em Tzu'us Masim HaTovim Ono Nivram. Because from the actual acts of goodness that Yaakov did, that's how we were created. Don't make a kitrig on Yaakov because he created us. Because the mincha I'm sending, this present that Yaakov was sending to Esav, right? The animals, he sent all those animals, he sent to Esav, right? The mincha shalucha la'adoni Esav shegam lechon negei atoy. You should also get the toiv. You'll have this world. So Yaakov Avinu is giving over to Esav. So Esav should have the animals, and he should be able to make a good steak and make a good barbecue. So he should enjoy this world. So he won't have the next world. Unbelievable. He used it against him. You understand? He played the same thing. What does the Yetzer Hara do? The Yetzer Hara tells you that you shouldn't do things in this world. You have to enjoy this world. So you should lose the next world. So what's Yaakov Avinu doing? He sends him over these beautiful animals. He tells Esav, go make a beautiful barbecue and enjoy, eat, enjoy this world. Why? So you should have the next world. Unbelievable. How Yaakov Avinu understood the strategy. He used Esav's strategy himself in order to get back and to be victorious over Esav. Look what he says now. So we know when Yaakov Avinu, they crossed over the Yabok. Remember? They crossed over the water, the Yabok. Excuse me. So when they crossed over the Yabok, it says that Yaakov Avinu realized he forgot something. He went back. Why did he forget? He forgot these pachim, the pachim ketanim. These pachim ketanim. The pachim. The same lashon that's used by Chanukah. Where did these pachim come from? I'll tell you something interesting. In Parshas Noach, right? After the flood, right? So Noach sent out a Yonah, right? A dove, right? And the dove came back with what in his mouth? An olive branch. Remember? He came back with an olive branch. So the Medrash says, there's a Medrash that says that he had olives on it actually. And Noach crushed the olives, and he put them in a jar. He put it into a jar, and he never used it. He didn't use it to eat, to fry something. He didn't use it for light. He left it in those jars, and those jars were left over for Shem. Shem gave them to Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu gave them to Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak Avinu gave it to Yaakov Avinu. Those jars. And Yaakov Avinu realized that he left those jars on the other side of the water. He realized he left those jars on the other side of the water. So he went back to get those little pachim ketanim, those little jars. It said that Yochanan Kohen Gadol, he found there was a pach katan, right? There was one jar, and it was munach b'chaismei shel kohen gadol, right? It was stamped. It had the stamp of the kohen gadol on it, right? And from that they were able to light the Chanukah menorah, right? In the Beis Hamikdash, right? Came from this story. Isn't that beautiful? Came from this story here with Yaakov Avinu. That's where the oil came from. So that what happened was Yaakov was standing there. He was by himself. Yaakov was by himself. And then what happened was the malach of Esav, the Sa'ar Shel Esav, the angel of Esav, came and attacked Yaakov Avinu. He wanted to kill Yaakov Avinu. But he tried. V'inyan k'may sheyesh gimel olamais, olam asrafim, olam hagalgalim, v'olam hatachtay. We know that there are three worlds. Actually, there are four worlds, but we're mentioning three, right? We have the world of Asiya, we have the world of Yetzira, we have the world of Bria, we have the world of Atzilus, right? But he's talking about the world of Bria. He's talking about the world of the Srafim, right? He's talking about the world of the Galgalim, which is the second one's Yetzira, and of course the world of Asiya. Okay? Haroishu neged olam asrafim. The head, right? The head of a person is connected to the olam asrafim, the world of Bria. Shal yodei masig abayre baruch hu. He can understand Hashem. That's how we can understand Hashem. Through the world of Bria, right? Through that idea. Okay. V'halev hu neged olam hagalgalim. And the leiv is connected to the world of the galgalim. V'chein kosev b'sefer Yetzira. It's also brought in Sefer Yetzira. That's a sefer that Avraham Avinu wrote. Leiv v'nefesh galgal b'shana. Right, the leiv, the heart, the nefesh, the soul, galgal, it's encircled b'shana in the year. Okay. Shebechinas haleiv yochel lahasig abayri baruch hu machmas tenuas hagalgalim. Through the heart, a person can understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? He can understand Hashem based on the things, how things are spiraling in the world, things are going on. V'hayirechayim sheba adam, right? The thighs of the person, right? Neged olam hatachtay. That's connected to the olam hatachtay, the lower world. Like we have the lower extremities. So we have the upper world is the head, almost like it was in Parshas Noach with the Teva, right? The Teva had the three levels. Here we have the three worlds. It's the same idea. Right? The Teva we learned had the three levels. The top level was like the Rosh. The main level was like the torso, and the lower level was like the legs of the person. Okay? Same idea over here. Hainu. Sha'oived esabayre baruch hu al yedei amuna v'zeh mayra ala reglayim miloshan hirgel. So then we know that when we serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the main thing is to serve Hashem with emunah pshuta, right? To serve Hashem simply, simple. We don't have to make things complicated. Things can be simple when we serve Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to recognize that we're davening to Him. You know that? That's all we have to do. That's all we have to do. Know when I'm davening to Hashem. That's the main thing that we can accomplish. That's how we can accomplish a good davening. Recognize that I'm standing in front of Hashem. Hashem is listening to my tefillah. Hashem wants to hear my tefillah. This is the greatest davening that we can have. Right? We don't have to get involved in understanding all the different names of Hashem and all the different things and all of that. No. Adarabah, the opposite. I should serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu simply, emunah pshuta. That's what I have to do. So why did he attack the thigh of Yaakov? Why did he attack his thigh? Yuchel chas v'sholem lebalbel. If a person serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, al yedei amuna only, he can get confused sometimes. Because when it happened was he tried to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'seichel. Because you put your mind to it, and you put the amuna in your mind, and you understand that wherever you go, Shivisi Hashem L'negdi Summit, wherever I go, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're there with me. And a person puts that, and he takes that, puts that in his mind. That's unshaking. You can't shake that person. He says, your name is not going to be Yaakov. Why? Ki Yaakov Meira Alavoida Tachtoina. Yaakov is referring to the lower level, right? Yaakov. Like he says, Yud Akev. Yud Akev. Ki im Yisrael Shemeira Alavoida Elyoina Li Roish. Right? Yaakov, we know, why was Yaakov given the name Yaakov? Because he was holding on to the heel of Esav, right? He was holding on the heel of Esav. The heel is called an Akev, right? You have the Parshah Akev, right? The heel is holding on to the Akev. So therefore, he was holding on to the heel. He got the name of Yaakov, hinting to the lower extremities to only have emunah. If you only have emunah, but you don't have Torah, you don't have tefillah, right? You don't do something and engage your mind. So then that emunah is not going to stick. You can't have just emunah if you're not implying, and also you're seichel to it, understanding. But to understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there, that's all we have to understand. We don't have to understand and make it that complicated. That can be very, very simple. This is all HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. But again, to put my seichel into it. Vayomer, Shalcheni ki ola hashachar. So Yaakov Avinu is fighting with this malach all night, right? All night. Ala loisa shachar. Till the morning came. And what happened in the morning? This malach said to Yaakov Avinu, Vayomer Shalcheni ki ola hashachar. Oh, there's Rav Yaakov. Wow, there he is. The Malach said, send me out because the morning came. Very interesting. Very interesting. He's fighting with him all night long. Now the morning comes. He says, send me away. What's going on here? Ubarashi, I am Barashi. See what Rashi says. Shegia Eis Laima Shira. We know that the Malachim in the morning, they say Shira. Every morning the Malachim say Shira HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it came the time for the Malach to say Shira. Look what he says now. I am Medrash. Shema Olam Layama Shira Dayan. This Malach of Esav never had the opportunity to say Shira. He never had the opportunity to sing praises to Hashem. Oh, but now he has the opportunity to say the Shira. Now he gets the opportunity. Vayishlach and lama igia ata eis shelai laimashira. So let's understand, why did it have come now to this malach at this time? The fact that he can say the Shira. Why not before? Why not before? Does anyone have an answer? Why not before? No. Okay, everyone's quiet. Okay, I know everyone has the answer, but they don't want to say. Okay. All right.
It wasn't turn yet.
It wasn't his turn. But why wasn't his turn? Why Befrat? He's fighting with Yaakov, and now it becomes his turn.
Only now he had the shaykhus with the tzaddik, or
now, there we go. Now let's see what the Kedusha is. Excellent. All the nations have an angel. Every nation has an angel. And every nation's angel says Shira. Ema Sayoimim Shira. So but when do they say the Shira? If the nation does good, something good for Klal Yisrael, something good for the Jewish nation, so then they have the opportunity that they can say Shira. They can say sing praise to Hashem. Mizeh higia lahem his gabras l'sar shalahem lo'im Shira. And that's what gives them the opportunity that they can say Shira themselves, that they have the opportunity to say Shira. V'kan haya sarei shel Esav. Now, it was the Sar shel Esav, the Malach of Esav. V'asa Esav kan chesed in Yaakov. Wow. What chesed did he do? Let's see what he did. Umizeh chesed higia es gabris l'sar shaloi lo'im Shira. V'lekach amu me'ashem me'olam lo'im Shira ve'ata higia es lo'i shaloi lo'im Shira. Ki me'olam lo'asa Esav im Yaakov chesed. Till now, Esav never did a chesed for Yaakov. He never did a chesed. Ve'ata also chesed im Yaakov v'lekach higia itay lo'im Shira. So what was the chesed that he did? He gave Yaakov Avinu a new name, right? Yaakov Avinu got the name of Yisrael. Remember? Right? The Malach gave him the name. He says, now we're not going to call you Yaakov anymore. Remember when that happened also in the Torah? It happened by Avram Avinu, right? Hashem said, we're not going to call you anymore Avram. We're going to call you Avraham. Remember? Now the Malach tells Yaakov Avinu that we're not going to call you Yaakov anymore, but we're going to call you Yisrael. Hence, we're known as the Bnei Yisrael, right? We're known as the Bnei Yisrael, right? We're not known as the Bnei Yaakov. We're known as the Bnei Yisrael, right? We're the Bnei Yisrael. So because he did a chesed, therefore it's the Malach's turn to say Shira. But it wasn't that he had the appointment before. See, that's the thing we have to understand. It's not like this Sar Shel Esav had an appointment that he had to go to serve, to sing the Shira to Hashem. He didn't have an appointment. The fact that he did the chesed with Yaakov Avinu gave him the opportunity to get the appointment in order to say the Shira. Unbelievable. Vayomer lo Yaakov yayama oid shimcha ki im Yisrael ki sarisa im Elohim va'anoshim va'tucha. Your name is not going to be Yaakov anymore. Your name is now going to be Yisrael because you're able to wage battle with God, because again he's a Malach Eliki. Va'anoshim, and with people, because he thought he was a person, but he was fighting with a Malach. So he says you were able to do battle with a person and Elikim. Va'tuchal, and you were successful.
Prevail.
What?
Prevail.
You prevailed. You were successful. You prevailed. Excellent. There are people that are constantly connected to Hashem. They feel connected to Hashem all the time. Even if they're talking to other people, they know that they're talking to somebody which is the Tzelem Elikim, right? Every human being is formed in the Tzelem Elikim. Except for Yishmael. You know that? I can prove to you that Yishmael, I can prove to you that the Arabs are not actually people. You want me to prove it to you? I'll tell you like this. The Torah says that Yishmael is a Pera Adam, right? Pera Adam. Now, how should it have stated it? It should have stated in Adam Pera. You always put the adjective after the noun. You don't put the adjective before the noun. You understand?
In Lashon Kodesh.
In Lashon Kodesh. Of course, well, I'm talking about Lashon Kodesh. In Lashon Kodesh, you'll always put the adjective right? After the noun. The noun always goes first, and then you say what it is. Ze pri tov, ze yeled tov, ze yaldat tova, right? You put the adjective after. So now why does the Torah say that he's a para adam? You know why? It's very simple. Because Yishmael is actually a wild thing, some wild thing in the form of a person. Para is the noun. Adam is describing what he looks like. You see it. No Arab respects any other Arab. Any Arab will slit the throat of any other Arab. They kill millions all the time of each other. They couldn't care less about one or the other, right? Look what the Syrians did. Look what they do in Libya. Look what they do in Lebanon. Look what the Iranians do. Come on, forget it, right? Look how many people they kill. It's unbelievable. It doesn't mean anything to them. They're savages. But the person talks to a person. He can still be connected to Hashem. There are other people, and a little lower level. Okay, I feel connected to Hashem when I'm studying Torah, when I'm learning, when I'm davening, when I'm doing a mitzvah. I feel connected to Hashem, which is very good, which is very, very good. If he's talking, this person, when he's talking to people, he's having a regular conversation, perhaps it's a business conversation, perhaps he's meeting with his friend, and they're discussing whatever, the weather, they're discussing politics, who knows what they're discussing. He can't always keep his mind that keep HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the conversation. The first level, the first guy, right? The first explanation that we gave, the person that can think of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in any aspect that he's dealing with in his life, whether he's dealing with people, he's dealing with his avodas Hashem, he's connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is called the Yisrael connection to Hashem. That's Yisrael. All right. Kihu oisyos yosher kel. Yosher kel. He's straight with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'gam li rosh. Also, it's li rosh. I have a head. V'abechina beis nikra Yaakov. Yud okav. Shu zvezer lo Yaakov. Your name is not going to be Yaakov anymore. Kiyem Yisrael. Your name is now going to be Yisrael because you were able to fight with me. Ki sarisa im elikim. You were able to wage battle with God, with a godly angel. Kaloi meshata davik belikim, afilu kishata metabe b'nei adam. You were connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thinking you were dealing with a person. Because Yaakov didn't know originally that he was a malach. He thought he was attacked by some kind of bandit. He didn't know. But he was able to connect to Hashem, keep connected to Hashem, even though he thought he was dealing with a person, he was still connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? You were victorious when it came to fighting with man and with godliness. You were constantly able to have your mind focused on Hashem. What a wonderful thing it is to be able to keep ourselves focused, to know that no matter where we go, no matter what we do, no matter who we're meeting with, we always have Hashem with us. Such a beautiful, beautiful idea to understand. Something so nice that we could end with this nice. It's really so nice how Yaakov Avinu had no idea. Again, he was there all by himself, right? He was there all by himself. Yaakov Levada. He was there all by himself. And then the next thing he knows, this guy comes over to him and starts to fight with him. He didn't know it was a Malach, but Yaakov Avinu was so connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he knew what his mission was. He was going back there to get those little pachim ketanim, those little jugs, the little jars that came from Noach. That Shem, the Malki Tzedek, was the Kohen, and he stamped them. Unbelievable. And then that was the Chaysim, that it was Munach b'Chaysmei Shel Kohen. Unbelievable that Yaakov Avinu was already preparing. Well, I mean, Yaakov Avinu prepared Klal Yisrael, right? The Shiftei Kah, the 12 tribes come from Yaakov Avinu. So Yaakov Avinu knew that we're going to need this Nes of Chanukah. Right, we're going to need this Nes of Chanukah that's going to carry us through. That the Nes of Chanukah is going to carry us through. So Yaakov Avinu made sure to go back to get those Pachim Ketanim. Even though he went back and he crossed the Yabok again. He meets the Malach. He's constantly connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore the Malach said, V'sarisa im Elokim v'anoshim v'tuchal. You were always victorious, you were always successful in this, and therefore your name is going to be Yisrael, because Yisrael means we're always connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whether we're dealing in Avodas Hashem, or we're dealing with Avodas Gashmias, whatever we're doing, we're always connected to Hashem. We should all be Zaycha to connect ourselves always to the Rabbeinu Shalom, to feel the protection of Hashem, to feel the protection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We need it more today than ever before, to realize that Hashem is mamish there with us, Hashem is protecting us, and we don't need to worry because we do have Hashem on our side. Unbelievable. And any time you open up your Sefer Tehillim and you say the words, know that the Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Melech Malchei Amlachim. He's the King of all kings. He's the king of all rulers, the king of all presidents, the king of everything. Everything. He's listening to our words. Let us, mamash, just have the emunah to believe that Hashem wants to hear from us. Let us have the emunah to say the words, knowing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is living. I wish everyone a wonderful Shabbos. I wish everyone, you should mamish feel in when Shabbos comes in, the whole idea of Shabbos is the Einik Shabbos. We should all feel the Einik Shabbos. I wish everyone you should have a gewaldige rest of your week and a gewaldige Shabbos. And I thank everyone for joining.
Amen. Quote.